Hello, welcome to another episode of our live stream, My Journey to the Trinity. My name is Hussein. Happy to be with you. Happy to be with me. And hope you're having a good day. And I just wanted to, when I listened to Zohran Mamdani's speech about the importance of Hijra, he kept mentioning the Hijra of Muhammad. And just judging by the reaction of the crowd there who was listening to him, they were electrified by his sermonating, and they were so like, "Whoa, man, this is amazing!" You know what he was saying about Islam and about Muhammad, and he kept mentioning Muhammad's hijrah. This is where Muhammad left Mecca to move to Medina, and this incident that took place around 622 AD. And Muhammad had, first of all, first few years of his alleged prophethood, he was in Mecca. And during that time, he was under the tutelage of Christians, like, so called Christians. His wife, Khadija, uh, the Waraka bin Nawfal, and also the monk, Buhaira. And so he was under all their influence to where he was borderline positive and tolerant in his relations with others. But things changed when he moved to Medina, and this is called the Hijra. He was allegedly persecuted in Mecca, and then so he fled to Medina. And, I wouldn't be making this live stream if Mamdani had not made such a statement about the Hijra in his speech about he's using it kind of as a, a gimmick for immigration, encouraging more immigration into New York City, and kind of in opposition to Trump. And it's kind of interesting that he's marrying anti-Trump sentiment, which is very powerful in New York City, liberal, left-wing, communist, atheistic New York City. And now I got to believe there's some Christians in New York City. I hope there are. They did vote for Mamdani, so I'm not sure. But no, I'm just kidding. I know there are lots of wonderful Christians in New York City. I hope they will rise up in their spiritual warfare to reclaim their state and reclaim their city in Jesus' name. And so anyway, but I was Mamdani. What he did, and he's doing it because he has permission from Whoopi Goldberg, the girls on The View, the left wing media on CNN and ABC, CBS, NPR. They're all, the New York Times. They're all giving him permission to do all this stuff that he's doing, and they're all applauding and licking his toes and loving on him just because he's not a Christian. He doesn't claim to be a Christian. They hate Christians. And so anyway, so this is what we're seeing right now in New York City. And but my concern was the thing he said about the Hijra. The Hijra is, like I said, it was around 622, so when Muhammad moved from Mecca to Medina. And when he left Mecca, Muhammad, you guys go look this up, he let a little boy sleep in his bed so that when the people who wanted to kill Muhammad came to that room, they'll think that little boy is Muhammad. Yo, boy, yep. And that boy was Ali. And Muhammad let him stay in his bed, risking that kid's life so he can get away. And he went to Medina. And one thing that Mamdani said is that Medina welcomed him. Well, Medina was a very, there were some very powerful Jewish tribes in Medina, like in New York City. And there were three very powerful Jewish tribes in Medina at the time of the Hijra that Mamdani kept bringing up. Mamdani's the one who kept bringing this up. That's why I feel I need to speak about this. Okay, the three tribes were the Benu Kenuka, that is named after some Jewish rabbi or elder. His name was Kenuka. There's the Benu Nadir and the Benu Qurayza. There's three different tribes of Jews who lived in Medina when Muhammad went there. And like Mamdani said, they welcomed Muhammad. But then Muhammad thought, well, these guys are going to recognize that I am the next prophet in their long line of prophets. He understood that the Jews had Moses, Abraham, David, Solomon, Adam, Jacob, Isaac. All of them were Jewish, and so he figured, well, they're going to welcome me as the next prophet in their line. And that's kind of what the Muhammad was expecting. But the Jews said, okay, well, let's listen to you. Let's see what you got to say. And when he said what he's got to say, the Jews said, dude, you ain't no prophet. Okay, and we ain't following you, and you're not a Hebrew prophet. You're not in the lineage of David and Abraham and all of them. And so Muhammad became very discouraged by the Jews that they would not accept him as a prophet, would not accept his prophethood, would not accept his, being in the line of God's men to direct the Jews and to direct humanity. In fact, they mocked him a lot. They thought he was a joke, and they mocked him a lot. And so so Muhammad became very angry at the Jews who did this, and so there was these three tribes. Muhammad went there, and there's these three tribes of Jews: the Benu Nadir, the Benu Kenuka, the Benu Qurayza. Muhammad got into spats with all of them because they would not accept him as a prophet. They said, dude, there's no way you're a prophet. It's like, we know what prophets are. We know what prophets teach. You're not a prophet, and we do not accept you. Okay. And so he became very angry, very upset. And then they started having little spats. They started having little spats with Muhammad, specifically with the Benu Kenuka. There was a big spat over. Muhammad really liked the way the Jews were so industrious. They were so hardworking, and they were very prosperous. No matter what they are always very prosperous. And so he really wanted their money. They wanted their possessions. And so he kept going after their stuff. And with the Benu Kenuka, it finally came to the point where he supposedly got a revelation. He got a revelation that somebody wanted to kill him or something. I don't know where he got the revelation, but it was supposedly a revelation. Okay, it wasn't like there was evidence. There was just revelation. And like his revelations about the fact that he was supposed to marry Aisha, and the revelation that he was supposed to marry Zainab, and so he laid siege to the Benu Kenuka, And after about 15 days siege, he forced them to leave Medina. And then there was the Banu Nadir who were left. And with the Banu Nadir, Muhammad also got into this spat with them. And um, and not to say the Jews were perfect, but there's this famous story, and this famous story is that there was this Muslim woman who went to a Muslim man's business, and some guy like got her dress to get stuck on a nail on the chair to where when she got up it exposed her legs. And her brother Cain got mad and killed the guy who did this. Okay. And then the Jews went and took revenge on that guy, and back and forth, back and forth. And eventually, in any case, Muhammad, of course, what did he do? 15-day siege around the Banu Nadir, and he kicked them out. He kicked them out. So two of the three tribes of Jews in Medina, after the Hijra that Mamdani is predicting upon New York City, and trying to sell to New Yorkers. New Yorkers, wake up. New Yorkers, wake up. I know a lot of you guys don't follow Jesus. A lot of you guys aren't Christians, but you got something coming to you. He's going to give you free supermarkets for a little while, and you guys are expecting the free transportation, free buses, and free childcare. It's coming at a big price, and he is not concealing his intentions. This isn't about free buses. This isn't about free ice cream. It's about Islam. And the way you know that is the fact that he made this speech a sermon about Islam. He is pushing Islam hook, line, and sinker on you, New York City. And he'll give you free groceries. He'll give you free groceries. Now, he'll let you die on the streets, freeze to death out on the streets. He'll still let you do that. He won't clean up your garbage, and he won't shovel your snow. You can call him Mr. Freeze, like so many are calling him nowadays. But he is pushing Islam on you. And so I just want you guys to, I told you about two of the three tribes when Muhammad came to Medina. And the only reason I'm saying this, you guys, is because Mamdani said it over and over again. Talked about this heroic hijrah of Muhammad going from Mecca to Medina. When he went to Medina, there were three tribes. He kicked two of them out. The third one, Banu Qurayza, he didn't kick them out. He committed genocide on them. He killed all of the men in one day. He killed all of them. Committed genocide on the tribe. He took their women and their sons as slaves. That's what Muhammad did that's Muhammad's hijrah. And with the Banu Nadir, by the way, they fled to another city, another Jewish community called Khaybar. And he went and chased them there. And, killed some of them there. And before Muhammad died, his last words were, I want to get all the Jews and Christians out of the Arabian Peninsula. I want to get them all out of Arabia. All of the Jews and Christians out of it. That was his last words. Famous last words. So, now that Mamdani is predicting a hijrah to New York City, and CNN is licking his toes. CNN is licking his toe jam. And the New York Times is just just drinking up. Why? Because he's the perfect foil to Donald Trump. They hate Donald Trump and they hate Christians. And the way to get them is with the perfect foil, Mr. Mamdani. And so they're licking his toe jam and accepting everything he's doing, everything he's saying. And so I know I'm being a little bit disgusting. I'm sorry, guys, but in reality, that is what's happening. That is what's happening. The View, they're licking his toe jam. They love this guy. They worship him because he's a foil to Donald Trump. That's all this is about. And a foil to Christians. Okay. And so, anyway, so there were 3 tribes of Jews in Medina at the time of the heroic Hijra that Mamdani wants to bring to New York City. The first tribe of Jews was expelled, Benu Kinuka. The second tribe of Jews, Benu Nadir, was expelled and chased to Khaybar. And if some of you guys know about Khaybar, Khaybar is the #1 marching cry of Islamists against Jews. So #1. Khaybar, Khaybar, ya Yahud. Jaish Muhammad Sayyar. Khaybar, Khaybar, O Jews. The army of Muhammad is going to return. That was the Benu Nadir that went there. And Muhammad chased them there. And got the Jews of Khaybar as well, which is where he got poisoned and eventually died as a result of it. But then there was the Benu Qurayza, where he committed genocide against the whole tribe. I mean, wiped them out. Genocide is when you wipe out the whole population. That's what they did to the Benu Qurayza. They don't exist anymore. He wiped them out completely. It was a full genocide. So anyway, when Mamdani talks about the heroic Hijra, of course he's not going to tell you all the details. Maybe he doesn't know them. I don't know. But, you know, as someone who knows and is very worried about a Hijra coming to New York City. New York City, wake up. You're being lulled to sleep so fast. Don't sell your souls for free groceries and free bus fare. Wake up, Christians. Pray for your city, New York City. Elect righteous people. Now, when I say righteous people, nobody's perfect, but people who believe in the values of America and the values of the Bible that America was based on, Judeo-Christian values. So yeah, I just wanted to say something I wouldn't have said it. I mean, I have talked about this before, but I wouldn't have said it right now if Mamdani hadn't, I believe, misrepresented the Hijra, and I know it's a very heroic thing for Muslims, but what Muhammad did to the Jews of Medina is unforgivable, inexcusable, and it needs to be pointed out. And a lot of Jews know it, and they still voted for him. He's talking about bringing that to New York City now, the Hijra. So anyway, that's all I want to talk about. And I felt the moral responsibility to talk about this because of what he said. So anyway, guys, thank you for being with us. And if you haven't done it, please do it now. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. يسوع ساعدني. يسوع سامحني. يسوع ادخل قلبي. We love you, but much more importantly, he loves you. Thank you for joining us for a few moments.